AITA for not switching places with my friend and ruining her life. This happened a couple weeks ago, but I'm still getting shit about it. A friend of mine, Dea, fake name, asked me if I wanted to come with her on some errands and see her new car. I said yes because I had some things to get done and my car was being checked over. We're in the same bubble and stayed masked the whole time. Well, while we were out, Dea ended up hitting another car while turning left. We were both shaken but mostly fine yet, but when I started to call the police, Dea started freaking out even more. She started begging me not to call the cops and to just go talk to the other driver. I didn't feel comfortable not calling them, so I went ahead and did. Then Dea started begging me to get in the driver's seat, saying I had to get in the driver's seat. I had to claim I was the one driving. Turns out Dea doesn't have a license. She needed/wanted a car but didn't feel like getting her license, so her mom bought the car for her. Didn't feel comfortable lying to the police, so I continued to refuse and just got out of the car and waited on the sidewalk for them to get there. Well, Dea got arrested for driving without a license, insurance, or registration for her car and just told me today she has been found at fault for the accident. Now Dea, her mom, and half of our friends are saying I'm an asshole for not just switching places. She is now facing multiple fines, possible jail time, and being kicked out of our MA program because of all this. I tried to explain that I didn't feel comfortable lying to the police, but she just keeps calling me a privileged bitch and wishing horrible things would happen to me. So am I the asshole for not switching places with her? Edit. Several people have said I should include this and I'm sorry I didn't in the original post. This was much more serious than a fender bender. This was my response to someone else. She took the entire front of his car off, or at least it looked like it. We were at an intersection and she was in a left turn lane with a yellow light and didn't look before she went. The other gentleman was coming the opposite way going straight. Both cars are totaled. The gentleman was not unconscious as I originally thought, but he did hit his head on the steering wheel and he had to be taken to the hospital. He did eventually get out of his car with help, and that's when I believe I should have talked to him. Dea and I were mostly alright with just some bumps and bruises. Edit 2. Someone suggested I add this because of people saying I am the asshole for calling the police, but for major accidents such as this one where I live, you are required by law to call the police and file a report. NTA. So she did several illegal things that are each a big no-no. Driving without a license, driving a car without registration, driving without insurance. She and her mom definitely should have known better than doing/allowing that. She also risked your life by letting you get into the car with her under false premises, because I suspect you thought she had actual, training how to drive safely and a license to show she did. And she, her mom, and those bullies now say you're TA because you refused to do other illegal things on top of that. Doesn't work like that. Also, you did the absolute right thing. You could have gotten in serious legal trouble switching places with her, because aside from the lying to the police, then you would have been the one driving without registration and insurance. Also, seeing there is no insurance, the cost of the damage would have legally been on you. Seeing what a peach your friend and her mother are, you can't be sure they wouldn't have let you sit on that. Also, she got in legal trouble and kicked out of school because of a decision she made. Even if it wasn't so detrimental for you to do so, you're under no moral obligation to save her from the consequences of her own actions. I would seriously cut contact. Friend and mom sound super toxic. Find a friend who won't get you into trouble. Edit. Wow, thanks for the award! NTA. She ruined her own life. She and her mom chose to be irresponsible. Not only did they do something illegal, but then asked you to do something illegal. Block her on all platforms. If she continues to harass you because she's an idiot that did idiotic things, tell her you'll inform the police that you are being harassed. Right. And to call up privileged. Privileged is having your mom buy you a car, drive with no license, insurance, or tags, get in an accident and think the consequences don't apply to you because someone else will take the blame. This is not ops friend, and neither is anyone saying she should have taken the blame. Now Dea, her mom, and half of our friends are saying I'm an asshole for not just switching places. You don't need any of those people in your life. NTA, and I'm sad that for one moment you even considered you were one. WIBTA If I sued my boyfriend's elderly mother and pressed charges against her. Okay, I know how this sounds. Please hear me out at least. I've been with my boyfriend for 11 years, since I was 15. His mother has hated me since the first day she met me. She hated me due to my ethnicity, Kosovan Albanian. She hated me due to my career. I work as a model and she decided that makes me an empty-headed, vain, shallow person. Then when I told her I still planned to go to university alongside my career, she said I was doing it to impress my boyfriend. I've since left uni with a distinction, and her new reason to hate me is I try too hard. She has also insisted I've cheated on him throughout our entire relationship, which is a ridiculous claim. I've never even kissed another man in my whole life. I have zero desire to cheat and never will. Late last year she attempted to void the insurance on my boyfriend's motorbikes. She tried to do this under my name so, hypothetically, when he was arrested for riding with no insurance and called his insurance company, I'd get the blame. After this happened, my boyfriend and I agreed to cut her out. However, it hasn't stuck. She left my boyfriend alone and respected his wishes for North Carolina, but she's continued to contact and harass me. This leads to the last few weeks. My boyfriend works as a motorcycle test rider and he got in an awful motorbike crash while working. As such, I now need to care for him. I'm okay with that and I'm focusing on seeing it as an opportunity for us to get closer. It's been nice, honestly. However, his mother has been awful to me. She's called me litany of terms, from things as tame as stupid to things as awful as a nasty Serbian half-breed. I'm not Serbian and she's well aware that calling a Kosovan a Serb is offensive. I tried to block her, so she started making new iMessage accounts and began to continuously harass me via those accounts. Then came Friday night. The police turned up at our door. I was pretty confused and was quickly told they were there to do a welfare check as they'd received multiple claims of horrific abuse I was apparently putting my poor boyfriend under. Obviously they quickly discovered he was fine, albeit grumpy, and they left. I know for a fact it was his mother. Some of the details the police mentioned made that obvious. I'm now at a point where I've realized I literally cannot do this. I'm going to press charges against her for the insurance and harassment. It's a crime in the UK, and I'm likely going to sue her for damages. For the sake of my mental health, I need to do this. I don't want to be a victim and she needs to be forced to stop. I have mentioned my intentions to her if she doesn't back off, and she's pretty much mocking me and saying I won't. I absolutely will. I just feel like this morally may make me an awful person. She sucks, I know this. However, she's old and miserable enough as is, and I feel like doing this may ruin whatever small amount of life she has left. It feels like it may be too far. I really don't know though, and I genuinely cannot be objective here. But to hear if I did this, edit, when I say I need to care for my boyfriend, I mean he's essentially immobile, he's not being unsupportive, he's just barely able to take care of himself, let alone battle his mother too. NTA. This is getting dangerous. Maybe a restraining order? I've considered it. May have to go that route too. NTA. His mom sounds horrible and I couldn't imagine having to deal with her. Would it be possible to get a restraining order first, then see how that goes? Not sure of the legal stuff, but I think if she violates a restraining order you might have a better chance of getting somewhere if you do decide to press charges. Possibly. Honestly though, I feel like we're past restraining order territory. I feel unsafe just sitting in my kitchen now due to her constant harassment. My life is rough enough as is, having to pretty much do everything for my boyfriend, and having this on top of that, it's way too much and I need to force it to stop. NTA. His mother is abusive and becoming a danger to you and your boyfriend. You need to cut her out entirely and take some legal action. Figure out your best options and go from there. But this woman is a racist, vile, sickening lady. Yeah, I think you're right. We have already cut her out. She's contacting me via new iMessage accounts and emails, etc. And yeah, she's 100% racist. I'm ethnic Albanian but I'm white. I've seen the way she treats Puck and it makes the way she treats me seem like a walk in the park. I genuinely hate her. NTA. But do discuss it with your boyfriend first. In my country, this would be slander and libel laws would apply. I'll definitely discuss it with him first. I know he'll agree. She's an awful person and was an even worse mother to him. AITA for reporting my therapist after she disclosed information to my stepmom. 20F. Lost my mom in 2018 in a car accident. It was sudden, it was devastating, and I had no one to turn to for support. My dad married my stepmom a year later. I currently live with them preparing for medical school. I have to say I'm not that excited to start because I have a lot of unresolved grief and needed to talk. My stepmom has been trying to insert herself as a replacement for my mom, and it's very obvious. She's controlling and gets involved in every single aspect of my life. It makes me uncomfortable. I told my dad that I'll be seeing a therapist. My stepmom said she'd take care of it. I have been in therapy for 2 months now. However, lately I noticed my stepmom wanting to talk to me about things that I regularly bring up in therapy to my therapist. She'd bluntly ask questions about things I said in therapy. She at some point offered me money to talk to her. I stopped talking to her, but she started brining up my mom during dinner. It's not easy to talk about my mom. It's very stressful and causes me to get emotional. When I asked how she knew, she admitted that the therapist told her. I was shocked. She went on about why I shouldn't hate her and respect her more and get rid of the negativity and just accept and try to adapt to this new normal. I had no response, but I was mad. I yelled at her and told her she had no right to police my words and get involved in personal manners. My dad said I shouldn't yell because my stepmom was just worried about me and wanted to make sure I was making progress in therapy. I left the kitchen. I decided to stop seeing my therapist. The next day I told her about what my stepmom said and told her that I'll be reporting her for breaking confidentiality. My stepmom threw a fit and my dad told me to back down and that I was free to stop going but not cause issues and mess with people's careers and act out like that. I refused to listen to him and he's still telling me to stop it. He ignores how upset I am. NTA, report her and get as far away from these people as you can. You should be able to talk to your therapist without worrying. Find one who doesn't know her at all. I'm so sorry. NTA, it's a literal breach of conduct. Your therapist should have thought about the consequences before breaking their rules. Besides, it feels like, given the dad saying not to do it, maybe this therapist is a friend of your family and giving them .info because of that. NTA. Obviously NTA. Also just report her without telling your dad and stepmom. It's not their business. At this point, I'm pretty sure the therapist will tell them. NTA. I studied psychology for 6 years, including 3 years looking at psychological therapies. They drill into us the importance of privacy and confidentiality. By breaking confidentiality, she put her own career on the line, and to be frank, you owe it yourself and her other patients to report her for that. She knows the rights and wrongs of being a therapist, and she made the wrong choice and should suffer the consequences, otherwise she'll continue to do this and get away with it. Your stepmom was way out of line and should have kept her nose out. If she wants your trust, she's doing a really rubbish job of earning that. If she wants a healthy relationship with you, she needs to go about it in an ethical way. And she also needs to understand that these things can't be forced. Your dad is also in the wrong for not seeing just how messed up your therapist and stepmom acted in this situation, and he's really let you down for that.